Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the disease called multiple sclerosis, MS. It's not super common, but it's more common amongst women. And there's only one person I knew that had it, and she was a woman. And but you know what? She did not have any effects of it, like very, very, very tiny bit. Sometimes her hand would shake a little bit. That was it. And actually, I was taking natural vitamins at that time. I was taking Time Release. I think it was called Shift brand. They're top quality brand vitamins, and they're whole foods and stuff. But she was taking this stuff, Nature's Way of Life, and I found out about this from another person too that used to work in several health food stores, and that's also how I found out about Swanson. But also trial and error and reading and actually looking at the ingredients of this product. It's fantastic. If you take one thing, that's what you should take. Really, is this one's the best one. But she took this one. But you know what else she did? Because MS is not, like per even the medical people, nothing like I'm not going to say anything like conspiratorial, like the medical establishment's holding back, information or something. Sometimes it's a little bit true because if they have a really, really high dollar treatment, they're not going to give it up for something that can come from nature that might do pretty well too. There's a tendency, to stick with the money revenue side of things, but the medical establishment does not actually state that they'll say it's not from genetics. It's not generally considered from genetics. But more women get MS, multiple sclerosis, than men. And what she did, she took this vitamin, but that wasn't the only thing she did. She did a whole pile of stuff. It was like any food that had, she would pick up a can and she would read the ingredients. And if it had any like long names or chemical names, she would not use, that would not be any food she took. It would always be all whole foods, organic, no preservatives in it, nothing. Just the food itself. Very picky about that stuff. And she looked very young too. But very, like almost no effects of MS at all. And they say generally speaking it's not, they don't really believe it to be a genetic disease. But if you don't know what MS is, it's actually like some kind of degeneration of the nerves and the brain where your muscles, you don't have control over your muscles. You can't walk correctly and move correctly. It's like, it's like you lose your motor functions. She didn't have any of that problem. Very, very, very slight trembling of the hand, but she was diagnosed with MS. But what she did was very, very strict diet. All the best foods, no preservatives or nothing. And she used this. She used this Nature's Way of Life. Now, there's another thing out there that the medical people say too. This is like per the medical profession. They're not really 100% sure what brings it on. They say it's not really from genetics. It's probably the environment or nutrition or something like that. Like, in other words, chemicals in your food could maybe help trigger it. And the other thing is they think is possible that could trigger it is microbes. In other words, pathogens, viruses, bacteria, something like that could help bring it about. That was another reason I kind of like this all-purpose, I don't sell these or anything. I just have like a bunch of these things, these microbe electrifiers. And he doesn't actually, this was down from Ecuador, Dragonfly 75, Mike Forrest. And I think he worked with Dr. Beck from years ago, or when Dr. Beck was alive. I think he's been around in the industry for quite some time. And I just want to say that the patent says one thing. The one I was talking about, the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York City, the patent says one thing. There's people that say good things about it, but it's not endorsed by the even though it came from the established medical community, it's not endorsed by the established medical community as far as I know. But I want to say this about his devices. He makes them in conformance to the patent. So if you believe the patent and you believe I do this all the time, so I think it's cool. I'm going to be working out now. I don't want to. Well, let me put it this way. I personally am really pumped up on this idea. I really am. It's like, I think it's the most fantastic thing going. That's my personal opinion. That's my honest personal opinion. I got no like association with it, or no, I don't make these things or nothing. I have nothing to do with it at all. It's just my personal opinion. That's all there is to it. But he does make these according to the patent. He used to make this one. It's called the mini electrifier, and there's only 2 batteries in it. I put these 9.6 volt batteries in them. They're like a little more powerful than the standard 9 volt batteries. They're for like paintball guns. They recharge. You can recharge them, and it gives it a little more oomph. So, actually, if you look at this red light, it's pulsing. The red light goes on at 190 microamps, and you can turn it up even a little higher. It's probably might be putting out 200 microamps with the 9.6 volt batteries in it, which is actually plenty in conformance with the patent. Plenty in conformance. And I started thinking about this because I started thinking about this. I don't know why, it just dawned on me. This woman who had MS, she has it forever, but she's got no problem with it. And it's supposedly not a genetic disease per se. It's not really like they don't think it is, but it could be very, very bad. But she doesn't take any freaking food at all with preservatives in it, chemicals. Like, she'll look at a foods and pick up the package. If it has anything in it that has some long chemical name or anything like that, she won't. That's it. Forget it. It could say all natural and organic on it or whatever the hell it is. If it has some chemical in it, she doesn't have it. It doesn't go in her body. And she told me about this. But the other thing I was thinking is that the other thing that can bring about where they suspect, and this is per the medical establishment, what could bring about also help trigger your, MS to progress faster or get worse, is microbes. Then I started thinking about these devices, according to the patent, and I won't make it as a claim that Mike doesn't make any claims at all, period. But I'm saying is the patent does state this. It says that the microbes, when they're electrified, it causes the outer protein wall of the microbe to get disrupted, so it cannot infect new healthy cells, so it can't replicate. So I don't know how many things it works against. I remember listening to what Dr. Beck said, which is Dr. Beck, PhD in, if he's a physicist, that he worked with some kind of microelectricity. He wasn't like a medical doctor. But then again, there's other medical doctors that put this whole thing together, basically, this whole system together, which is Dr. Kiley and Dr. Lyman. And actually, if you look at another doctor out there very similar to Dr. Beck's name, which is the PhD, there's Dr. Robert Otto Becker, who wrote The Body Electric. And he talks about a lot of different things, how the body works off of electricity to heal itself, to help to repair and regenerate tissue and everything else. But, I personally believe in this stuff, and I started thinking about the microbe, the multiple sclerosis, and that fits in with 2 things that I do. I always take this vitamin, and I remember that woman, she always takes this vitamin. Now, she doesn't do this. I always do this, but I do know that microbes is suspected actually of causing MS to progress faster. And I don't know, from what I've read, I'm an amateur, not a medical professional, but I read a lot. And there's a hell of a lot of information that indicates that this stuff works. It wasn't researched in some, small place. It was researched at the most prestigious medical college going, Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York City. And but I like the way Mike makes these devices, though, with this indicator light, because say for instance, I didn't have this connected or something, well, the light wouldn't be on. So it's like foolproof, It just means, the only thing he's doing is making it according to the patent. But I start thinking, these aren't too much money If you're, I put it this way: I don't like to make, I don't like giving anybody false hope on anything. Period. But I do believe in this stuff so much, and I've been working out 3 hours a day again, and I was doing more of this, and I don't know if it's because of this. Because one other thing they say that this thing could possibly do is unclump red blood cells. That's not something that Mike Forrest claims or anything like that, not him. But if you look back in a lot of things when they're studying this, they said it could unclump red blood cells, which therefore can raise your ATP, which is the energy going in and out of the cells. And their claims are up to 500%. I read that. So I don't know, but I'm not trying to, I don't think I have that kind of effect where I do something and I imagine it works. Not at all. Because it seemed like 2 hours was getting pretty damn rough on the cardio machine, and now 3 hours is like nothing. I mean, it's nothing. That's like old school. It's like the way it was before, since I've been doing this. But I started thinking about the people with MS. They say microbes could be something that brings about the MS. Now, if this thing works according to the way the patent says it works, that should help cut down on microbes, I would think. But if you want to experiment, I like this little one. He doesn't make this one anymore. So I'm not even trying to sell anything here because he doesn't make this mini one, but I kind of like this little mini one because it's so small and it's just enough to do the job, But so I'm not selling anything at all here, but I think it's a cool idea. If you have MS and you wish to experiment, stay away from all foods that have any kind of preservatives in them, artificial anything. That's what that woman does. She takes this stuff. Nature's Way of Life. That's she actually got me on this because I was taking some pretty good stuff, but this actually is better. Now she does not do this, but then I kind of thought, if this thing actually does knock out some microbes, but from replicating, and keeps the microbes down a little bit. One of the things they say that they possibly, the medical community will say that they think that microbes can actually cause MS to get worse. But it's a guess. I'm not giving it to you as an absolute fact, but it might be something to pursue. That's what I would do. I'm already doing this anyway because I think it's so slick. But I just figured I'd put this out here because I think a lot of people don't realize a lot of problems with the body and a lot of diseases could probably be reversed on their own through nature by making sure the body has all the right stuff and nothing that's artificial that can actually harm the body. And that's exactly what that woman did who had MS. She just doesn't put any kind of preservatives in her body, no chemicals, no nothing. All the best foods, all homegrown stuff a lot of times in many cases. And her MS is like, she got a real little bit of it, but not much, and it hasn't progressed at all. So whatever she's doing is working.